Alright, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Casually Gaming back again with another deck profile video here for you. As you can see here, it's Ice Barriers. I mean, nothing really much else to say. If you guys do enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, a comment in the comment section below what you think of Ice Barriers, if they could possibly become meta. If not, let me know in the comment section below. But like I said before, leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and hit the notification bell so you guys can get notified every single time I upload a video. Okay, I'm gonna hop right into it. Alright, so first up, we have 3 Revealer, literally what she does is you can discard 1 card from your hand, and either you can special summon, special summon 1 Ice Barrier monster from your deck to the field. She is one of your main starters of the deck. So I can just scoot in a little bit like that. Okay. Yeah, so she's literally like your main 1 card starter of the deck. There's really not much else to say about it. She does have a graveyard effect where if you need to discard for a card effect for a Ice Barrier, you can banish herself instead. Pretty much. Next up is the main searcher of the deck besides your Revealer is your Mirror Mage. She has 2 phenomenal effects, which are when she's sent to the graveyard, you can literally add a so sorry. Oh, sorry, 1 Ice Barrier card. I don't know why it took me long to realize that. Jeez, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm not really too familiar with Ice Barriers, at least the newer ones. Not really too. I don't have their effects down pat as of yet. And sorry if you hear crying in the background. That is my daughter. It is early in the morning. My wife just woke up, so sorry about that if you hear any noise in the background. But yeah, so literally when she is sent to the graveyard, you can literally add 1. Right, you can add 1 Ice Barrier monster, 1 Ice Barrier card from your deck to your hand, and then her field effect is you contribute 1 other effect monster, literally to get 3 tokens, and for every token that is special summoned, she gains 1 level. Make sure you guys can see this properly. Yeah, so yeah, so that's literally what she does. She's a searcher for any Ice Barrier card, and she helps you go into your sinker place for your Crow Dragon and your Croco Dragon for your draw 4 combo. Next up, I run 3 of the Gorgeous Swordsman. He is a walking Monster Reborn and a walking Abyss Dweller. So when he is in your hand, as long as you control another Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon him from your hand to the field. And then you can also so as soon as he's special summoned, you can also reborn a Ice Barrier monster. And of course, there is no I'm sorry, there is a level 5 or lower Ice Barrier monster from your graveyard to the field. I was about to say there is no there is no level limit, but there is. That would be kind of crazy if there wasn't, because then you could just mill anything and then just bring it back. But it's level 5 or lower, so it's unfortunate. I kind of wish there wasn't any level limit on that. So next up, I do run 3 of the Speaker. When it's in your hand, you can, as long as you control another Ice Barrier monster, you can special summon it from your hand to your field, and then when it's in your graveyard, you can banish it from your grave to give yourself a token, a 1-star token, Ice Barrier token. It helps extend your synchro plays for your Croco, your Coral Dragon, and your Croco Dragon for your draw 4 combo. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Yeah, so I mean, really nothing much else to say about her. Self-explanatory, really, for the most part. Pretty much standard at this point. I do run 2 of the Hexia. I believe 3 would be too cloggy. Just for the simple fact that I do run other engines in the deck that are non-ice barrier, but do help extend a lot better than she will. But you'll see it later in the video. Literally, all she does is when she hits the field, is you can send one level 3 or lower ice barrier monster from your deck to the graveyard, and then it literally gains that level. So it gains from 1 to 3. So it can become a 2-star, 3-star, or a 4-star, which is kind of cool if you are running lower level synchros. It'll help get into that, or if you're running maybe 8-star synchros in the deck, that'll help you get into that as well. But this particular build that's not the case. This is just so you can extend a little bit better for your rank 4 plays, and so it can actually help you get into your Bahamut Shark. So if you mill 3, it becomes a 4-star, and unless you get into your Bahamut for your what you call it, totally awesome. So the last couple of ice barriers I run them at 1. I do run 1 medium of the ice barrier in here. It helps basically combo with your Warlock here. Literally, the medium says once per turn for small track cards. Your opponent can only activate 1 per turn and only 1 during that turn. And then this one kind of locks you as well, because it says for either player, for small track cards, they have to set them before they can even really activate them, and you can't activate them until your following turn. Until their next turn. So like, it's just kind of like maybe like hindrance towards you, actually a little bit more. I'm actually maybe thinking of maybe just bumping this up to 2, to be honest, because this one only affects your opponent, not you, which is actually pretty cool, and it's not too bad. It's a 22 beater. You can summon it off of your Lancia, your Synchro Dragon there, that lets you spell some ice barriers from the deck. Or if she's in your graveyard, you can just bring her back off of a Gorgeous if you wanted to. If she gets sent to the rear or somehow. But I mean, that's just me. You guys let me know in the comment section below what you guys think of these 2 cards. If I should be running them at all, run only her, or run only this, let me know in the comment section below, guys, okay? Last one for the ice barrier portion of the deck is, of course, the General. Self-explanatory, nothing really major there. Yeah, so nothing really to explain. I mean, if you guys don't know what he does, of course, I'll just let you know real quick. If your opponent tries to resolve a monster effect, in order to resolve a monster effect, they would need to discard 1 card from their hand to be able to resolve that effect. And of course, it only affects your opponent, does not affect you. Now, I would run this at more than 1 if I could just special summon it like itself off its own effect. Like if you control another ice barrier, you can special summon it from your hand. Which would actually be a little bit more beneficial, but because it's a higher level monster, you don't want to run too many, because you don't want to brick, get stuck in your hand and you can't really do much with it. A lot of times, you just special summon off Atlanteus, and I'll show you him later on, of course, in the video. So for the non-ice barrier portion of the deck, I do run 2 of the Ice Jade Rain. I want to run this at 3. I do have a 3rd one on the way. This effect is just too good to run at 2. You definitely want to run it at 3. Basically, you could discard itself, or like an Ice Jade monster, or a water monster from your hand to the graveyard, to basically go into a special summon on itself, and it gives you a token. And of course, it just helps with like your Dragoon plays. So if you drop a Dragoon or you drop a Princess off of him, it helps extend into your other plays there. Helps you get your Dragoon effects off, your Princess effects off. That whole little package deal. And speaking of Dragoons, I do run 3 Dragoon because this is not the only card. Rain's not the only card that discards a card from your hand, which is pretty cool. You could discard this or your princess to go into your Sea Serpent plays. Usually, a lot of times, I'm usually debating on if of course, depending on like which one you have first. So if you have at least one of these, you would go into her, and of course go into your other plays. If you have another card to that discards, or if she's on the field, it allows you to send one Lantean from your deck to the graveyard, and of course, if he's sent to the graveyard, it extends it further, which is pretty cool. So, yep, 3 and just the 1 there. I do run an extra Sea Serpent, which is the Lapis Dragon. Literally, if this is added to your hand off of a card effect, you can reveal it to your opponent and literally just special summon it to the field for free, which is pretty badass. But yeah, I mean, nothing really other than that crazy. This would just really help you extend into your link plays, possibly synchro plays, depending on what your field looks like, but mainly your link plays. And last one for the deck for monsters, I do run the Elemental Lord. Now this one I'm kind of really on defense about. It is good to be able to rip 2 cards out of your opponent's hand, but I don't like the fact that if it leaves the field, pretty much you have to skip your battle phase. I'm pretty sure there's probably Exceed monsters that I could probably run in here. They'll help me get around that. But yeah, we'll have to see. Because as of right now, I haven't found anything that's pretty much better than than what I got right here. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, guys, that's pretty much it for the monster portion of the deck. Next up, we're going to be going into the spells and trap cards portion. Sorry, just try to stuff I'm a little screwed up for a second. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so next up we're going into the spell and trap card portion of the deck. First up, I do run 3 Medallion. Self-explanatory, is you're literally like your one card starter of the deck. If your hand is not looking too great, this help extends into your revealer or your mage, whatever you need. And it's not once per turn, so if you have multiple copies in your hand, you can literally just activate them freely. Okay, so next up is going to be 2 of the freezing Chain of the Ice Barrier. Now this card I'm kind of debating on if I should even be running it at 2. 2 might be a little much because this is searchable off of Mage. And literally the only thing this does is when it first hits the field, you get a level 4 lower Reborn from your graveyard for Ice Barriers, and then if you control 3 or more, your monsters are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. So this is basically protection, but you only get the Reborn effect when it's initially activated, so it's debatable. I actually might just cut this to 1, to be honest. And of course, one of the things where if I don't search it, it's one of the things, the reason why I'm running it too is if I don't search this, I search something else off of Mage, then I want the consistency, you know what I mean? So that's pretty much the only reason why I'm running it at 2. Next up, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like people are kind of sleeping on this card, and I kind of don't understand why. Maybe it's just because it's not a higher rarity, and these people just think it sucks. But I do run 2 of the Magic Triangle of the Ice Barrier. Literally, what this does is when you have 3 different Ice Barriers in your graveyard, in your so sorry, in your hand, and you have 3 in your hand. Come on, casual, get it right, bro, get it right. When it's in your hand, you can reveal 3 with different names in your hand, which would target a card in your opponent's field. Destroy it. Yes, it'll literally end a card. It is a target destruction. Maybe that's probably why people don't run it, but it's okay because it's like maybe you just go for back row. You know what I mean? It's like a free MST, and then you get a free monster summon off of this as well. So let's just special summon 1 Ice Barrier from your hand. No level restriction at all, and it's not once per turn. So you can actually 2 of these, reveal twice, special summon 2. It's not once per turn. Yep, not once per turn. That's don't sleep on this, guys. Do not sleep on this card, please. I beg of you. Please reread it, look over it. I don't care if you have to look up rulings on it. It's not once per turn. All right. You can literally reveal 3, pop a card, get a free summon. Especially if your hand is bricked. If you're running more copies of certain cards than you should, this card is a good out to unbricking your hand and going into your combos. So my last Ice Barrier spell card of the deck is literally Winds Over the Ice Barrier. So it's one of those things where it's debatable for me. I kind of want to run this at 2, but you tribute pretty much like all your monsters to be able to replenish your field. It's good. It could be good like this would actually be even better in my eyes if this was a quick play, because then if you attack all your monsters, you could just activate this. Maybe that's probably why they didn't make that a quick play. Now that I'm thinking about it, because that would be too cracked. It's like, all right, cool. I'll tribute all my monsters, special replenish them with a bunch of level 4 or lower ones, and then okay, now let's just keep on attacking you. Yeah, I get it. That's too cracked. But Bungie, I mean not Bungie. Jesus God, I play too much Destiny. Sorry guys. Konami, you guys make other cards that are just super cracked. You know, but this is only for Ice Barriers. It's specifically for Ice Barriers. So it's not like this is some random card you can just throw in any deck. It's literally you can only special summon level 4 or lower Ice Barriers from your deck. I mean, the level 4 or lower ones, they're not that strong, but it is helpful if you're trying to go for game. But that's only if this shit was quick play. Then I'll definitely run it too. It's good if you're like, you know, if you're having a hard time getting certain cards out, you know, you're trying to go for a certain single play, but you don't have what you need, you could just basically, you can just tribute any number, which is great. You don't have to tribute the whole field. You just tribute like 2 or 3 or maybe 1, and you actually just replenish your field with what you need. So I mean, it's debatable. You could run it at 2. 3 is unnecessary. You don't need to run it at 3. So going into the non-Ice Barrier portion of the spells, I do run 2 Foolish Burial Goods because I do have a trap in the deck that does have a graveyard effect. When it's banished, pretty much Ice Barrier is literally called Ice Barrier, the trap card. Next up is Triple Tactics Talent. Debatable. You have to rely on your opponent activating a spell, just an effect in general. Now, usually with this card, because it is a hand trap heavy format, the odds of that are very high. But there are some rogue deck players that don't use hand traps because they're just anti-hand trap. And if you come up against those people, this card just becomes useless, really. Other than that, like I mean, like unless like you're going second and then your opponent activates, you know, an effect during your turn of a monster they already have on their field, you know. That's the only other way I could see that really being useful. I'm not saying it's not a good card. It's good for the current format, but later down the line, if hand traps become obsolete, then that card's going to be kind of like hit or miss. Alright, so Call by the Grave is my final spell card of the deck. Nothing really to explain there. I wish this card was still at least at 2. We need all the help we can get against hand traps, because hand traps, honestly, man, they're destroying the format. To be honest, I do not run. As you guys see, I do not run any hand traps in here. I am so anti hand trap. It's ridiculous, man. Like, I just don't like. I don't like running that stuff, and like, for the most part. I mean, the only thing that's kind of like exceptional is like certain trap cards that can be activated straight from the hand, like infinite impermanence, like imperm. Uh, that's pretty much like the only exception really for me. But the only way you can activate that is if you control no cards. So like if you don't control any cards, then you can just plop it and use it. And same thing with like evenly matched. You have to enter the battle phase. Basically, you're wasting your main phase. So it requires you to be in the battle phase to be able to just evenly match your opponent. But no, it's one of the things where, because that's fair, because now you're wasting your main phase and also you're giving up your battle phase. You're giving up more than you're basically giving up almost as much as your opponent is, because you're wiping out your opponent's field, so you might as well give up your main phase. You're not summoning anything, and then you're not be able to attack your opponent. You can still summon their main phase too, but that's besides the point. All right, so this is a newer Ice Barrier card. I don't know if people are sleeping on it or what, but I figure I'd just throw it in, give it a little bit of a test run, and basically frozen domain of the Ice Barrier. Which what this does is your opponent cannot interrupt your Ice Barrier monster effects. Cannot be interrupted. Your opponent cannot respond in the activation of Ice Barrier monster effects. And then on top of that, you can return one card from your hand. Return one card to the hand, basically from the field, or shuffle one into the deck. And then one Ice Barrier monster control. Then place one card on the field on the bottom of the deck from the field or from the graveyard. So if your opponent tries to like activate a monster effect in the graveyard, this is kind of like another I guess in a way like kind of like DD Crow / Abyss Dweller, where like if your opponent activates a card in effect, it has to be in the grave to be able to resolve. Like it has to be able to activate from the graveyard to be able to resolve, and you just remove it from the graveyard, and your opponent just basically stops your opponent from being able to use that effect. And usually a lot of times, activation of a lot of cards can only be activated once per turn. So a lot of times, if it's something of that nature, and you return it to the bottom of the deck, then they just can't use it that turn. Which is I just find this pretty cool. This is also searchable through Mage, so if you have to, you could just search it. And it's good because it helps you basically helps you freely play if like late game. Like it helps you just freely play your field late game. Alright, so last Ice Barrier trap of the deck is literally going to be Ice Barrier. I was lucky enough to get 3 of these. For some reason these are kind of hard to come by. Some people say, "Oh, why are you running 3?" I run 3 because I literally run 2 Foolish Burial Goods, so I can at least get 2 of these to the graveyard. I definitely at least want to see at least 1 of these in my hand, so I can use the Battle Negation effect at some point. It's definitely not a brick. It's definitely not a brick at 3. No, at all. But you definitely just want to be able to utilize it to the full extent. Just for the simple fact because you do run Foolish Burial Goods in the deck itself. And the last trap of the deck is not an Ice Barrier trap, but it should be. Ice Dragon's Prism. Literally what this does is you could target one monster in your opponent's graveyard, special summon to your side of the field, and then you just and this is also a non-target negation. I mean, not negation, I'm sorry, banishment. Because the only time you're targeting is when you're special summoning a monster from your opponent's graveyard. But then it has a banish effect where you banish 2 monsters on the field that have literally the same type, and it's permanent banishment. They don't come back. So you reborn a monster that has the type of a monster on their field that you want to get rid of, and you're basically banishing two of their monsters when you think about it, because you're not banishing one of your own, you're banishing both of theirs. So you reborn one to banish it, to banish one of your opponent's monsters on their field, and it's a non-target. It just says you banish two, but you banish one monster from either player's field. That's literally what it says, and it says but the same, but they have the same type, right? So, why not run it? I think it's phenomenal, and it's one of those things where like the name kind of fits the archetype that I'm going for here for Ice Barrier. It's Ice Dragon's Prism. I mean, why not, right? It's a free non-target banishment. I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. Kind of reminds me of Cosmojo in a way. Alright, so next up is the extra deck here. I do run the 1C, one World Sea Dragon, Zealantheus. This one I'm kind of on the fence about. I'm not really sure if it's really great for this deck. I am running it because there's a lot of cards in this deck, monster effects that lock you into water monsters. So I was just trying to find water monsters I can go into for link summons and exceed summons and of course synchro summons. Now this one, what he does is you could just banish, when he hits the field, you could banish all other cards on the field, and then special summon as many as possible that were banished off of his effect to your field, and then also to your opponent's field as well. Like you banish both your, bring back both your fields. But the only way I can see it being beneficial is by bringing them back and facing out the defensive position. But if it's a link monster that you're bringing back to their field, it kind of defeats the purpose in my eyes. But the only other thing is I don't think this is very good for this deck. It might be better for Dinos because you have a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno in there, and when you bring them back, and face out defense position on your opponent's field. Of course, although as long as they're not links, then you can pretty much just use Ultimate Conductor, bring him out from your hand or graveyard, whichever, and just attack over your opponent's monsters and hit them for 1,000 each, and they don't flip up either. So this might actually be a good tech for Dinos, and I might include this in a later deck profile for you guys for Dinos, because Dinos are pretty much for the most part back in full swing. I was trying to find other cards I can add in, and this might be one of them, but we'll see. So next up is the Anemone, Coral and Anemone. Now I definitely want to bump her up to 2, which I actually might do in the near future. Her effect is pretty cool when she is basically link summoned. You could target one water monster in your graveyard for 1,500 or less attack. Basically special summon from your field to your field. It helps you bring back your Mirror Mage, anything else you would need, as long as it's 1,500 or less. You know how that is. Oh, and it also locks you into water monsters too, so that's another thing. Alright, so going into synchros, those are only 2 links I run. If you guys have any other suggestions for link monsters that I can run that also lock you into water monsters, please let me know in the comment section below, guys. Alright, so I do run 2 Lantius or Lancia. Basically, this is your free special summon. Every time your opponent special summons a monster, you can special summon one Ice Barrier monster from your hand or deck. No level limit either. And then at any time this is removed from the field, it lets you float down into either Trishulia Zero Dragon or regular Trishulia. This is the only time where I kind of feel like that this guy is beneficial, because if he's sent off the field at any point, and of course, with his effect, if he's sent off the field and then brought back, as soon as he leaves the field, it allows you to just float down into your Trishulia Zero, and it treats it as a synchro summon. So that was the only time I could really see it being useful. But other than that, not really. But so yep, Zero and regular Trishulia, self-explanatory. The only difference between these two is literally how the effect affects your opponent. This one does only field, and this one does hand, grave, or field. and field. There's one from each. And the other one only does 3 from field. Alright, so next up is the Croco Dragon. Like I said before, your mage helps you get into your Coral Dragon, and Coral Dragon helps you get into your Croco Dragon. And of course, when you're synchro summoning into Croco, you want to do Chain Link 1, Chain Link 2 for the Chain Link, so you chain block your opponent, because you don't want them negating your 3 draw. You don't care if they negate the 1 draw, but you just want to be able to draw as many cards as possible. You know, that's pretty much the goal there. Dragite, pretty much spell track card negation. Self-explanatory. You know, you can just negate your opponent's spell track cards, spell track card negation. And because you're also locked into water monsters, so that's it. Alright, so Brionac, nothing really to explain there. It's just an extra level 6 to go into. If you have problem cards on the board, you just start bouncing them back to your opponent's hand by ditching out, sending cards from your hand to the graveyard. This can be useful to get your your Dragoon effects off, but it's one of those things where usually a lot of times you may not see this card right away, and your Dragoons may already be used up. But if you go second and then you have a problem card, like a problem field like that, you could definitely go into your Dragoon plays there, your extenders. So, alright, so like I said before, Coral Dragon helps you get into Croco. When this is sent to the graveyard, you draw a card. It doesn't even matter for synchro summon, just whenever it's sent to the graveyard. Like I said before, when this is sent for synchro, you would do Chain Link 1 for Croco, Chain Link 2 for this one, just in case your opponent has Ash or anything that negates, or a Drone Lockbird, whatever else it is. So yeah. So for the Exceeds, I do run one Snow Dust Giant. I just figure I just try to find extra Exceed monsters that are water, because you get locked behind water. And basically the only thing this does is you reveal monsters in your hand, and then you put that many snow counters on all monsters your opponent controls, and they lose 200 attack for each snow counter on them. So if your opponent only has very few monsters and you reveal maybe 3 or 4, that's actually pretty cool. It helps you get around big beaters if you have a difficulty getting around them. It could be like a 100 point difference, and that extra 400 point reduction could make or break you. All right, so the goat of the deck, the god of the deck, that helps you summon out God here. Your demigod that gets you into your god, Bahamut Shark, which helps you get into your Totally Awesome, which is your anti-Nibiru card of the deck. And there's really nothing much else to say there, guys. This is your this is your goat that you go for. So really, you're trying to see this before you would even see this. Like, you want to see this before you see this. So just so that you could play a little bit more freely. You don't have to worry about Nibiru too much. And Nibiru is another hand trap, man. I don't like. I'm so anti hand trap, man. It's just crazy. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the deck profile, guys. If you guys did enjoy, please leave a like. Let me know in the comment section below if there's anything I missed. This deck profile is what's it called? Subject to change. I want to say, if that's the right term. Sorry if I messed that up. But yeah, it's subject to change, and I do have other cards that are still coming in, so I'm probably going to be doing a little bit more tweaking. I will give you guys an updated deck profile literally probably soon, honestly. But if you guys did enjoy, or if you guys found this informative, please let me know in the comment section below. If you guys are planning on even playing Ice Bears, if you think it could be next top tier, if you think that the format of water is coming up, because right now it's format of fire, it would be kind of what you call it, ideal, or it'd be kind of, ironic in a way, because it's format fire, but the format water comes up, it's just going to dominate. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, and please hit the notification bell so you can get notified every single time I upload a video here for you on the channel. But with that said, guys, I'm signing off here for today. Be sure to tell your family that you love them. I'll catch you guys next time. Stay casual, and I'll see you guys later.